Hello and welcome to Fight for Blight Session 40. New friend or foe? Before we get back into the game, of course, we'll go around the table, check in with each of our players, see how everyone's couple weeks were. Sounds like from just some pre banter or pre conversation, I should say, had a little bit of a fun weekend. So I'm gonna be excited to hear about that. Um, and then also, of course, get into our recap right after that. So, since I'm anxious to hear about it, Mayvara, how was your couple of weeks?
It was great last night. Saturday night, had a big birthday party with my sister. It was really fun. And then, yeah, yesterday just kept it very to and then this week I'm traveling for work and also life's good.
Nice. Cryptilly, anything you'd like to add on to that?
Yeah, no, it's been a pretty good week.
I think I was hoping to get a little bit more details about the party. And you guys do any keg stands, or just a lot of shots?
More so, Pia did lots of shots. I did lots of beers.
Yeah, I was making mojitos with like fresh mint and everything. It was nice.
Man, I don't know how they are with like fresh mint. But the only time I've ever had one is on a cruise that I just did not like them. Not my thing.
Yeah,
Too
fresher
fresh.
ingredients is definitely better.
And Crix, how was your couple weeks?
They were pretty good. Bike week happened. That was a party and hell at the same time, as it always is. Other than that, just working and doing the normal stuff.
Nice. And last but not least, just Ellen. How's your couple weeks, bud?
Pretty cool. 2 weeks ago, I went home to South Carolina to visit my family because it was my brother's birthday. So we went to Dave and Buster's, and we got to chill in the arcade and try to kick each other's asses. So that was a good evening. And then, let's see, last weekend, nothing really eventful happened, but I've been gradually trying to spruce up the apartment a little bit. So I got some balcony furniture, got a new set, and put that together. So things are progressing.
Nice. Did they have the axe throwing game at the Dave and Buster's by you?
Which one?
The axe throwing?
Oh, I didn't see that there. I'm missing out. An axe throwing game. That's different.
Yeah, of course. It's like all like rubber and like, no like actual blades or anything, but you do throw them at like a target, maybe like 10, maybe 12 feet away, and
Gotcha.
it's fun.
I'm not sure how balanced they would be with the weight, but yeah, sounds interesting.
It's not nearly as heavy as a regular hatchet, but
I'm sure.
I guess it works. I mean, like they're probably assuming like little kids are gonna play it too.
Mm-hmm.
Good. I'm glad each of you had a good couple weeks, and I'm definitely excited to get back into tonight's game. But since we did have those couple weeks off, hoping we have just as good of a recap as we did for our last session. So whichever of you would like to take the lead for that, please feel free to do so. Should be fairly simple.
Combat. Last time we played, we were in combat with a bunch of skellimans, and we got all of the guards killed. And then after all the skeletons and the guards were dead, this big dude showed up and was happy about everything we had done. He almost killed all of us. And then he's like, yeah, whatever, I'm out. And he left, and then this dude was under some wood, and I don't trust him. Especially since the big dude that almost killed all of us said, that's the guy that brought me here. Later, dudes.
I just realized how ironic his name was, the guy that was under the wood, because his name was Pine Hand, right? Like pine tree.
Yeah, but he also has a hand made out of pine or some crap.
Oh, okay. We just got wood all over the place, man.
Also, we took his weapons.
Yeah, we don't trust the new folks.
Nah, dude, summoning evil shit. We got enough evil shit to deal with.
Yeah, and I couldn't remember if the guards were actually dead or if they were down.
Oh, they're all dead. The only one that might be alive is the one that got sucked into the snow that we never saw again, but we never saw him again.
Oh yeah, he gone.
Kitty almost died too, from what I remember. I didn't take a note of it, but yeah,
Mhm.
we're getting messed up.
Yeah, we almost sacrificed Kitty.
But we lived. None of
But
us
we
died,
lived.
and apparently that was impressive.
Well, technically, 4 people.
They weren't we.
They were them, not we.
They were the bait. I believe
Bait,
you guys
man.
called it a couple sessions ago.
Sometimes you gotta use the bait, bro.
I just saw them as XP sinks, so I'm kind of glad they're all dead.
You could add some leveled up guards with you.
Nah, they died way too easy. They wouldn't have been worth it even at level 2.
What's funny is like guards are some things that like you normally fight at like basically level 1 ish. 2 if you're feeling a little weak, but 1 is doable.
I can't think of anything else much that happened.
I mean, it was pretty good. But if anyone has a couple of other things they'd like to add, you can give it a shot, but I feel like that's a pretty well covered recap. Alright, I'm taking the silence as that is everything. So, first and foremost, before we get into my narrative, some fun stuff. So, good try, Crix, but you already even weaseled out the 1 reroll and still got a 1. I'm actually curious what it would be if you rolled another d10. If it happened to be another 1, I would cry laughing. Oh my gosh. It's not much better.
Can I take the 2?
I'll allow it.
Out of pity.
Purely out of pity.
I'll take it.
But if I remember correctly, and I think we had confirmed this when we had our chat last week, everyone is currently at 23,133 experience.
Correct.
Yes.
Confirmed.
And with what was defeated during combat, and as Crick so nicely put it, not having to split any experience with the guards, you all did earn a hefty amount of experience, which is why I wanted to prepare everyone for the level. So each of you earned 12,775 experience after that combat. It was rated a deadly ×2 according to the CR calculator. So, well done.
Yay!
A lot.
So, with avoiding death and not having to worry about any of your siblings falling, that should put everyone at 35,908, which, of course, will put everyone to level 8.
Ooh.
So, of course, some of you have already told me which feats you're going to take. If you're taking the average, of course, Crix just rolled for his HP. 2 1s before he got into it and squeaked out a 2. But total overall, that's 5 extra HP for you.
It is what it is. I'm getting close to 100.
One day, we'll all be there. Out of curiosity, Cryptilli, Mevara, are you going to roll or take the average? And did you decide on your ability score improvements or feats?
Ability score improvement, and yes, I'm gonna
Did you take wisdom?
roll. Oh yeah.
Nice.
Just for the record, I took +2 into strength. to bring
I
me up
already
to
saw
18.
on yours. The previous level where you had an ability score improvement, you took a feat, and then this one you took the ability score.
Yes.
Yep. I had already gone over. Oops, sorry. Go ahead.
No worries. I was gonna say, I took the ability score as well. I did 1 dex, 1 wisdom.
Nice. That's probably really good. No, that's actually really good for you.
Oh, and my proficiency went up, which makes the armor or the AC on my shadow go up, so that's cool.
What's it at? Like a 4 now?
My
kidding.
proficiency or the AC of my shadow?
The AC of the shadow.
I have to double check, but it's either at a 17 or 18 now.
Wow.
Yeah. But it still only has 1 HP, so if you hit it, it dies.
Yeah, and it only eats up your bonus action, so.
Oh yeah, no, it's great. I love that thing.
Hopefully you just don't have to. What is it? Your bonus attack that gives you health back, or your bonus action that gives you health back. I'm drawing a blank right now.
Oh, it's not action surge, it's the other one.
Yeah, it's just I was like, yeah, it's not action surge, and then I couldn't think of the other one. Oh gosh, it'll come to me later.
Second wind.
Second, yep, okay. All right. Well, May, you said that you're taking the average, just double checking.
Yes.
Okay.
Question, because as soon as I leveled my character, I automatically got 4 hit points.
Yep, that's
So
your average.
okay, and then I just add my tough on top of that.
If you're taking tough, then yes.
I had it before. Okay.
Oh
okay,
no, if
gotcha.
you had it before, no, it only works one time.
I thought
But it
it
says
worked
each
every
level you
level.
get +2.
Hold on, no, I'm thinking of something else, Anari.
Yeah, when you take tough, you get 2 points for every previous level and 2 points for every level after.
Okay. So automatically your average is added to your level. What happens if you're trying to roll though instead of doing your average? You have to manually subtract?
Manually subtract if it's less.
Okay. Gotcha.
So for like an example, Cryptilli is, oh well, just leveled. So what was your HP before Cryptilli?
Is what it is now. I haven't added it. I just rolled.
Okay, so if you put it up to level 8, it should increase it. Let me see.
I put mine on manual.
Yeah, mine's on manual too.
So then theirs is a little bit different, but essentially what happens, just all in, is since it's automatically adding it for you, then if you decide to roll, you just add or subtract the difference.
Got you. That's mine was on automatic. Okay. That makes sense.
I am looking some stuff up so I can find your previous HP.
And then
You had 56 before, so if it put you up to 60, then you should be fine if you just wanted to take the average.
for the HP, I do 1d8 plus my Constitution modifier, right?
Correct.
Yeah, that's what I was forgetting the last times. I was like, why is it so low? Yeah, we fixed it last time.
So it actually increased yours by 13, just on, because you were at 58.
Right. So I'm trying to figure out what is going on because I should
So
be at.
it takes um your dice roll, adds the Constitution modifier, and then adds tough. So you're automatically getting +4 from that.
Yeah, 'cause based on my notes, I should be down to 62, not 71. So I was trying to figure out why I was so high. Mind you, my notes could be
So
way off.
what is your thing? I'm pretty sure it's a D6, right?
Mm, Wait, my hit dice,
Yeah.
is 1d8.
Okay, so D8, the average, I think they put it at 5, right?
We bump it up to 5, right, and
Okay,
then
so
plus
you
2
should
for
have a
tough.
+9 in total. So that should,
Oh,
if I,
plus the Constitution plus
so you
tough.
should be at 67. So yeah, that is weird. I don't know why I put you at 71.
Yeah, I don't know why I did that.
But that's also why we wanted to go over everything just to make sure, and I had all that stuff up ready to go. But nonetheless, we should be good, and if anyone has any questions, just feel free to ask, and we'll get it situated.
I think it was because Cryptilli gave me a mini buff like before the last battle or recently. That could
That's
have been it.
probably
Oh,
it.
you
Yeah, my
added
bad.
you added temp HP to your max. Don't do that.
Right. Need to double check to make sure.
There's actually like a temp HP area.
That'll do it.
Guessing
But
that's what happened. But yeah, I see the temp HP right by the max.
that makes a lot of sense if that's what happened.
I'm guessing that's what happened. No idea.
Okay.
The way
Well,
it's good to have
good
notes
memory.
to make sure.
As we get into tonight's story, we begin with this. Continuing on June 12th, year 1101, the sun beginning to make its way to the western horizon, already passing its highest point in the sky, the wind still blowing strong after the deadly combat has concluded. Snow falling from the branches down to the ground below. Each of you hears soft patters. It almost sounds as if rain is falling from the trees itself. Vio Sakun, aka Pinehand, stands there unarmed as Cryptilli has begun muttering some arcane words to tend to each of your wounds. See Pinehand smile. Are those supposed to be words of encouragement to your friends, or just to put them down? It does seem that each of you had an equal part to play in what was accomplished.
I'll just look at him in a very off-putting way and continue muttering my words.
So as Cryptilli is going through this ritual for next roughly 10 minutes, does anyone have anything they'd like to do? Pinehand just kind of looks around to each of you, not knowing if he should move, stay still. If he's about to die, he has a very puzzled look upon his face.
Well, then he shouldn't be questioning the person that's trying to heal him. Just sit tight, Pinehand. We'll be moving out shortly.
Perhaps I can take a look around.
Guess I'm not looking for the next one. So I'll follow him and keep a wary eye if he is going to be allowed to walk around for 10 minutes, right?
Yeah, so that spell she's casting will definitely take a bit of time. Pinehand begins to mosey about a bit, making a way to some of the debris, lifting some things here and there.
Don't do anything suspicious.
Checks out the guards. Bloody hell. What all happened here? These men look to just be torn to shreds.
Apparently it was some creature that you summoned, or some being. At least he gave you credit for him being present.
Yeah, as far as we know, this is all your fault.
Turns to look towards you. But my fault? How?
Like my brother said, the creature gave you credit for summoning it here, and the creature did all of this. Therefore, it's your fault.
He knew you by name, so
And until we can prove otherwise, we're going to treat it as if it's your fault. I'm sure that's
Very well.
understandable.
Yes, it definitely makes sense now of your cautious attitudes. If anything, I feel forever in your debt for being able to save my life.
Yeah, well, at the very least, it seems to have cost a lot of others theirs.
See Pinehand kind of like kneel into the snow, place his hands together, bow his head. Seems as if he's praying.
I have my hand on my sword hilt.
I swear to God if he summons that thing back.
I use this to hear his exact word.
Oh, he's not speaking. Just his eyes are closed, head tilted.
Gotcha.
But it is a fabulous perception. Well, as you're trying to like listen very intently, seeing if you can pick up on if he speaks any words at all, you hear the wood like creaking. It's not the trees, but it seems to be some of the piles of wood to your west, perhaps a little bit to your south.
So, like here? Oh, his south, not general south. Okay.
I was wondering. Yeah, I was thinking here and maybe here.
I'll turn over a little debris.
Be wary.
Yeah, if there's a jump scare, I'm stabbing it.
As you mosey through some of the debris, don't find anything of significance. Do you see bits of like torn rags and things that may be somewhat useful, but nothing of value.
I'll dig through this debris down here too.
After digging through both of those, with the wood falling just a bit, you go ahead and give me an intelligence roll.
Oh, my specialty.
While nothing of value was necessarily found, you do gain some sort of you start to recognize some sort of pattern amongst these areas. With these little divots and things, you begin to notice that there's bits of wheels, and this wood is not all from the same object, if you will. Some seem to be rounded, some seem to be kind of sanded down perfectly smooth, and then some others seem to be not necessarily very well kept.
So does it seem like it's different occurrences of rubble or debris, or does it seem like I would think it was a wagon and crates that were destroyed? Or am I just unsure at that
Both
point?
of those are very plausible.
If only I was smarter. I could have more than an intuition.
Cryptilli, you'll know that your spell is roughly ready to go off. If you wish to draw in everyone's attention.
Yep, I'll call in my family and Kitty, and do the thing.
I'll put my hand on Pine Hand's shoulder, tell him it's time to go, because I don't want to leave him there solo. Too distanced.
Very well. You can go ahead and roll the HP if you'd like.
Oh, most person. Oh no, I lost it.
I was about to say, what's going on?
I don't know where it is. I probably took it off on accident, trying to click it because I was changing my spells around.
I know you had it repaired if you want to roll, what is it, the 2d6 or 2d8s? Okay.
Yeah, and I'll just respond. Now let's try to keep ourselves out of harm's way.
That's always been the goal.
Getting out of this cold will feel fantastic. I'm game to go anywhere that you all will have me.
Where it is? Where is it exactly that you're from?
I'm actually from Belkarth. I have a manor there.
Everyone staying in, I believe.
Huh. Yeah, as just Stalin says that, I'll see if I can recall seeing him on any of the pictures there.
Indeed.
Had a manor.
Yes, I told Ada I was going to try to find my family and mention they were making their way to Blight.
Well, it seems you've been haunting the forest around here for quite a while.
It's only been a few days.
How long were you trapped in that rubble?
I'm not sure. Minutes felt like an eternity. I should say maybe an hour. 4 hours tops.
And what were you doing for that few days before that hour or two you were trapped?
Traveling through these woods. Heard from some travelers that people have gotten lost. Feared my family might be a part of it.
And so you came alone.
Of course.
Something doesn't add up here.
You have no memory of this creature we spoke to you of?
Shakes his head.
The creature that was here when you went out hunting? When he was supposedly already wandering these woods and not trapped?
Yeah, or the one that was here trying to kill us.
Would I know anything about that creature? I think it was a necrotic type dude.
Go ahead and give me a religion check. Vistalin, Pinehand seems to be telling you the truth. You don't get any sense of lies or deceit in his tone.
He still bothers me, but I'll ride with it.
You do have an advantage for this though, bud, because this is something that you should know unless you're having issues recalling the information. A little bit better. From what you can remember reading, this undead was slightly more powerful. Those that you had fought before normally kind of attempt to grab, claw. Not very many of them use weapons, and definitely not any arcane magic. But this one was able to do both. That's about all you can recall. And just know that it was very powerful.
And I'll just address Pinehand and ask him what he knows of any of the arcane arts and some creatures or even deities that might um, show the type of powers or like things that this one did.
Didn't study much those types of things. I'm sorry, I don't know.
Then my last question for him would be, did he engage in any type of verbal contract when he was out looking for his family? Or it could even been like a mental contract.
I mean, of course, I was just telling myself over and over, I will find them, but more for self-motivation.
Did anyone other than yourself answer or tell you that they could give you what you seek?
He gives you like kind of tilted the head as he looks at you, and no, um, well, could it even happen in a dream? If one were asleep?
Yeah, it says sometimes it comes to you as a dream.
Hmm. I did a few nights back have a strange dream of an elf. Eyes were strange. They didn't match one another. It looked as if one had possibly even belonged to somebody else. Perhaps it was magic. Maybe it was just my mind being playing tricks on me while I slept. But as they outstretched their hand, they said that once I found my family, I would be able to save them and help him. But that's just a dream, right? And things like that happen all the time.
Did he say we'll give you a hand?
No, the only words were once I found my family, I'd be able to save them if I helped him.
I see. By the way, what happened to your hand?
Holds up the left hand. Nothing, it's fine. He gives like a little bit of a chuckle. Then holds out the pine carved hand and says, this happened quite a bit ago, when I was a child. When we came to Zidane from Ravenshaw, it probably shouldn't have been trying to mess with those ropes on the boat so much. But let's just say, when they say that sailing accidents can happen, they do.
If I had Bjerg's hand, I could make a great joke right now, but I don't. Well, as strange as it seems, the elf you saw in your dream most likely is our brother. Or at least appeared to be. That does match his description.
I mean, she did look a bit familiar, gesturing towards Mayvara, but most of you don't resemble one another at all. You mean to tell me that you're all brothers and sisters?
Yeah, elf genetics are weird, and our dad got around a little bit.
He giggles.
All right. I guess we're off to see Abba. Stop the chatting. Or should I question where to, sis? Or your liege? And I'll give her a slight bow.
Quit it.
Don't
Yeah.
oils.
Let's go see Ada. Turn this man in and see if the folks at Belkarth have any more information about who this creature was.
I guess we also gotta let them know that their guards are dead. Ada's probably not gonna take that well.
So back to home then.
Yeah, we can show you around our manor.
It is due time to head back. Agreed.
Shall I take the lead? I assume you don't want me walking behind you? You all do still seem a bit standoffish.
I think being in the middle will suit you just fine. Especially since you no longer have arms in your hands. Hands.
And I'll give a nice little chuckle to that one.
He looks at you, just kind of like, wow, bro. But, Cryptilly, just... I didn't know if you needed me to, like, actually say anything, but everything that he's saying, is the truth.
Good deal. Because if not, he would have got goddamn chill touched.
So shall we, as he gestures in the direction of towards Belkarth.
Let's do it.
As Pinehand begins to head back towards Belkarth, the wind continues its violent tendencies, blowing the snow erratically through the air. But a bit of relief as you don't hear any ominous voices. You don't see anyone get grabbed. No one feels anything, and the area, other than the weather, feels pretty calm. Well, we don't have much time, but we should be able to make it back before nightfall. Keep an average pace, it should be fine. At this point, Cryptilly and Crix, can you give me a perception check?
My rolls are awful tonight.
Cryptilly, as you're making your way through the snow, you feel yourself get a little bit lighter. It is hardly noticeable, but you do notice it.
And that's odd. And I'll ask if anyone else feels anything. And I'll describe the feeling.
Everyone else feels fine.
I don't feel anything.
Nope.
I feel nothing.
Huh. Does it feel like it's just easier to travel?
Wish I could say the same, but no. As
But
normal.
I'm okay with this right now. I'll look at Kitty and say, "Did you learn a new trick?" And I'll keep walking.
Kind of like pounces up through the snow, trying to like swat the snow that each of you are like kicking up, and to be able to pull it back down to the ground as if she's hunting birds attempting to fly off the floor.
Silly kitty.
But just with the sun beginning to hit the western horizon, the sky giving off a slight orange glow, each of you make your way back into Belkarth with about an hour till complete nightfall. Make your way in through the northern gate and then in towards the market. It's quite calm. A lot of the busyness has kind of moved its way into the tavern as you guys can hear sounds of clinking tankards and laughter a little bit off in the distance. But as you look around, you just see a few guards at their post and everything seems nice.
We should probably make our way to Ada right away. It's only right to let him know about the guards as soon as possible.
Agreed.
For sure.
So where are you all heading?
Went to the bar, I think. I think that's where Eden lives.
Good choice.
Like, seriously.
Yeah.
It is about the only place we've seen him.
And if not, someone would definitely know where he went. He did it so often.
Well, as each of you make your way to the exotic Stag Tavern, you poke your heads in, take a quick look around. You see the place is quite busy. But each of you do spot Ada sitting at the table, just with two empty tankards within his grasp.
We gotta help this poor guy.
I'll help him drink.
As you make your way in, you see the dwarven barkeep give each of you a hail from across the tavern. You can barely hear him, but you're still able to make out exactly what he's saying. Yeah, having a few tankards ready for you right away.
My kind of guy.
My favorite type of greeting.
But
Good.
let's make sure we keep our wits about us, just in case our friend here means us harm.
Poor sister.
I don't mean you any harm.
Well, you sure have caused a lot of it, whether you meant it or not.
But one day I will prove myself to be, I guess, seen well in each of your eyes. I only owe you my gratitude, my thanks, my life.
I hope so. Come, let's speak with Ada.
You all make your way over. You sit. And then, just about the time that each of you are sitting, a few tankards get slid upon the table. Dwarf pipes up. Ah, here you go. Ada, another round, it'll be just a few more moments. some scallywags over there spilt theirs, and you got a moment, right? Yeah, just fine. And as he looks up, seeing each of you, he gives a bit of a smile and says, I'm glad to see each of you have returned. And Sakun, it's so nice to see you. What's it been? 2, 3 weeks? How's the family? Pinehand gives a very puzzled look. What do you mean? I just left a few days ago.
See, we told you your story didn't make any sense.
And you see Pinehand have like a very big sigh. You see him turn a little bit pale. So then I did do that.
Maybe not intentionally, but you are definitely tied to it. So you understand our wariness.
Shakes his head yes silently.
Yes. Ada, we were able to find and defeat the creature in the woods. And in the end, although your guards fought bravely, they didn't survive. Unfortunately. The creature told us that he was sent here by this man, or that he's bargained with him. But Sakun is telling us he doesn't remember any of that.
So all of them.
Unfortunately, but they did fight bravely.
Well, what was it? Did you bring anything back?
It was some sort of monstrous undead. It's gone now, though.
But it seems Sakun was cursed or something.
Definitely enjoyed pain, receiving and giving. So that's something of note.
It also spoke.
Doesn't sound like any ordinary undead to me.
No, it definitely wasn't.
Ada looks over towards Cryptilly. What do you think it was? You should know, right?
I very well should know, and I almost have my finger on it, but I will need to do some hard reflection before I can be sure. And I'll reach over to Ada, and I'll give him 30 gold, and I'll tell him to give 10 to each of the families, or divide that for the families. I don't remember how many guards it was.
There were, I believe, 6 in total, but this is more than they would be able to make in a few years' time. I'm sure this will do well with their families. This is the one part of leadership that I hate. I can confidently say that I hate this.
Yes, I can understand that pain. And I'll just share with him that they fought bravely and they did the best that they could.
You should be proud. They never faltered.
No, it's... Well... Where are they now? Should leave him by the gate.
There was nothing to really bring back.
Kind of looks like with a bit of fear in his eyes, and he grabs the tankard and takes a sip. Well, at least each of you have made it back, and with Mr. Sakun as well.
Yes, what is to become of him? Should we deliver him to the barracks or the jail?
Before all that, can you speak to his character, since you have history with him? What are your honest opinions of Mr. Sakun?
A great man. Very, very dear and kind to this village of Belkarth, and happy father. I
Well,
have nothing but good things to say about him. But from what it sounds like, there might be something I don't know.
Does he have any enemies that you know of? Anybody that might dislike or distrust him?
Shakes his head, no. If someone didn't like a man of his stature, then I'm sure that they would keep it to themselves. But I've never heard a word.
Well, sounds like he was tricked, trapped. But, I mean, ultimately, whatever did this to him is probably still out there and ready to prey on other people.
Do you think that we should close the Barra Forest and can send word to Baragama? Send travelers along the road to the west, or to the east towards Gnissis, hopefully avoiding any forces from Direfrost.
I think that you shouldn't let anyone out alone, and that we can perhaps send follow up if someone leaves for longer than they said they would.
Well, to be fair, most of those that have left don't plan to come back until this is all over. Is there no way, besides a traveler, that we could send word?
To Baragama?
And also Gnissis?
Perhaps we can do that.
It may be fruitful for us to go and visit Baragama and then Gnissis.
They might have more insight into whatever this creature or this being is.
yes. But we should also make our way towards Blight. And I feel like um, Pinehand might want to make his way to Blight as well, if that's where he was heading.
Then perhaps we start our journey in Baragama, go up to Gnissis, and then on to Blight.
Yes, whatever you say.
Do we need to create more of your fire concoctions?
As it stands, I only used one of my fire bombs. I don't know what to call them. I haven't thought of a good name for them yet. But
A crick surprise.
Boom, boom, flame, flame.
Either way, if you decide to travel south to Baragama, if we're looking to avoid the forest, that will take a bit of time. Then if you plan to travel to Kinesis, then Blight from there, weather providing, that could take a week. More?
Well, we have our dog sleds.
we're no strangers to long journeys. We've almost circled the continent at this point.
I'm not sure how far those dogs get you, Mayvara, but either way, that's my estimate is just if the weather is travelable.
Yeah, we're very familiar with what it takes to travel. Do you think you could provide us with some food?
Again? I've already given you resources.
All right, no problem.
There's just not much to hand out.
Of course.
If things get too bad, we'll just eat Pine Hand.
Pinehand kind of like looks up for the first time in a couple of moments.
I'll just make eye contact and grin at him.
I mean, you could use this to fuel the fire.
Well played, Pinehead. Well played.
I don't like him and I don't trust him. A second later, trust +1.
I'm fickle, alright?
It was just funny how fast it came out. Well, I'd offer each of you a place to stay, but it seems that you've already been have made a nice cozy place at the manor.
Don't mind the mess in your living room. There's literally tar and scraps of cloth everywhere. It's bad.
It can't be that bad.
You'll see.
We did just kind of have fun in there. Creating bummy concoctions.
But I hope we can depend on your hospitality for a couple of days more.
Of course. Ada says, well, y'all will have to excuse me. I have some news to pass around. Kind of pulls the gold, opens up a little pouch and scoops it in. You hear the coins begin to jingle. Says, I think I have a few extra to provide as well.
I'll walk you out.
Appreciated. And gives Pine Hand a little nod, and then gives each of you a salute. Waits for May to stand up, and then each of them begin to walk towards the door.
So once we're outside and and we walk a little away from the tavern and I make sure there's no one around, I just put a hand on his shoulder and say, now, Ada, we're dealing with or have dealt with the creature in the woods. We need to talk about the situation with Malone.
I think I can handle it.
Are you sure? Sometimes these types of people, when they're challenged or provoked, their reaction can be wildly outsized.
He gives you a little bit of a nod. Says, if I feel like I need anything, I'll be sure to let you know.
So, how about this? We can stay in town for the next few days preparing for our trip, just to make sure you have support if you need it.
Very well. Gives like a little pat on the shoulder, a smile, and then gives you a proper salute as well. Says, I will see you in the morning.
See you then.
Make your way back in, May.
Yep.
This time, as you make your way back in, you see Pine Hand still kind of looking a bit down after getting smacked with the fact that he's been gone for weeks and not days, and that he's responsible for these guards' deaths, and he's not looking as chipper as he had when you had first begun to speak with him in the Barra Forest. The rest of your siblings enjoying a few drinks. The rest of the tavern seems to notice each of you. You hear bits of like murmurs going on, but it's nothing bad. It's more like, oh wow, I'm pretty certain that's the princess. I didn't know the royals were here. Make your way, sit at the table.
Yep. I'm gonna snuggle with Nyx a little bit.
Yeah, but the Panthers kind of curled up around the chair. Very well behaved, even in this slightly chaotic environment. And as Pine Hand looks to each of you and goes, so what now? A few more drinks and then some sleep?
Yeah, that sounds about right. We can stay a couple of days just to support Ada with something and make sure we have everything we need to travel.
Do you mind if I ask what you told him?
Just wanted to see how he was, how we could help.
So then each of you know.
No, what?
The apparent issues with Malone, of course.
May says, perhaps we should take some ale back to your manor, Sukun. Let's not speak of it here.
Discretion would be better.
And apologies if this does offend, but why did he salute to you?
Oh, you haven't figured it out yet. Where are the princesses and princes of Blight?
Suppose we don't really look the part.
See him with like a
Or
very
act the part.
inquisiting look.
And I'll give him a old school Mickey Mouse pose. Like, ta-da!
Yeah, I was thinking of a Dragon Ball Z pose with
Everyone jumps in.
Beginning
Gaming
force.
Force.
May will like raise her glass or her tankard and be like, I'm Mayvara Grimhearth.
It's like you click the tankards, you see him just looking pretty dumbfounded at this point. The last time I've seen each of you were when you traveled here with your father. Some barely able to walk. Many, many years ago.
We haven't seen our father in quite a while. We're trying to do what we can to save Blight.
Understand. I heard that there was something on the horizon, but perhaps we do have quite a bit to discuss. How long have you been at the manor?
A few nights?
Days.
So you
Less
couldn't
than
have
a week.
possibly drinking all the wine.
About us.
And I'll grab Just Stalin, give him a pat on the shoulder and say, "Ha ha, this one could drink all of your wine."
We might have drank all of them.
Gives a little bit of a chuckle.
I held back. I like to think we didn't drink all of it, per se.
Some
we
of
did
it.
some damage.
We should bring some.
We shall see.
Some of it might have gotten used for my science experiments with fire.
Some things aren't as flammable as others. It's what I learned.
Well, this might be worse than I was thinking. Whatever you're getting, Mayvara, was it? Double it. I'll pay you back when we get back to the manor.
Sure. And I go to negotiate with Barkeep for a couple cases of wine.
I can give you a few casks, but it's gonna cost you a bit and end up putting me out.
I understand. How much?
Well, word's already beginning to spread. You all don't know how to whisper very well, so I kind of caught the eye of a few people, but nonetheless, you're helping Zidane, and I live here, so I'd like to live. 10 gold for each cask.
Word spread about who we are?
Aye. What you been
Well-
doing?
It's not really a secret.
He shrugs. I never said it was, but he didn't tell me.
Yes, well, I don't normally walk in and introduce myself as princess every room I walk in.
Well, hell, some of the stories I've heard, if you introduce yourself as you all, then you might be hanging from a tower.
Fair enough. But we trusted Ada, so we assume Belkarth is safe for us.
Aye, he's a good lad.
All right. I'll take 2 casks. That should be enough.
Very well. He bends down, picks up one cask, sets it upon the um, on the bar and then grabs another. 20 gold.
She hands him the gold.
Very well. Takes the gold, stashes it away in his pocket. Then you see his attention get caught by another's, and he goes, "Hey, put that down!" And as you look over, you just see an individual holding a chair slightly above his chest, and then just looks at the barkeep and then slowly puts it back down and then sits. Yeah, that's what I fucking thought. Anyway, miss, have a good day.
You as well, thank you. Alright, crew. Let's take this party home.
Pinehand gives a bit of a nod, walks towards the doors and opens it and holds it for each of you.
Which door is he holding the door, or which hand is he holding the door open with?
It's
I was so thinking that. That was good.
I didn't even think to mention it, just his normal hand.
Oh, I was hoping it was the other one. I was gonna say that thing comes in handy, doesn't it?
Just see how he uses it for a doorstop.
Oh, so it comes off.
I'm just kidding. I just thought of that since you said the handy thing. I thought it was funny. But maybe, who knows?
Now, if we put Vier's hand on his stump and used Prayer of Healing, could we attach that?
He can communicate with us through sign language,
He'd probably just flick us off.
most likely.
So, as each of you finally make your way back in the manor, it takes you roughly about 5 minutes to make your way there. As soon as you walk in, Pinehand stops and he goes, "Okay, it's a lot worse than I thought."
I never said it wasn't gonna be. I told you it was bad.
The smell isn't very pleasant either.
Nope. And there is literally puddles of dried tar and scraps of things and little burn marks everywhere.
Yeah. Well, those casks? You said you'd have gotten some wine.
Yep,
Go grab
I
a few
handed
goblets.
once. It was about 20 gold. If you want to at least reimburse me for some.
Gives a nod, of course.
And to be fair, I assume the owner of this house was dead already, so there's that.
Well,
Been
from the
gone for
sounds of
quite a
it, Ada
while.
did as well. Gave the house away fairly quick.
Oh,
I'd
he did give
expect
it to
at least
Loyal.
a month. Hear him open up a couple of the cabinets, clanks of the wooden goblets, and then the casket popped open and began to pour for you. One for each.
Yes, now please. What in God's name is happening with this Malone character?
Well, to put it frank, most of the individuals here find him to be a thorn in your side. I would go as far to say that he's quite the dick.
Yeah, that much is obvious.
Do you think he would actually do anything to hurt Ada? Or just
Of course.
manipulate him?
I've seen Ada with bumps, bruises. Always tries to pawn it off as if it was some type of accident, training. Ada's parents have been gone for a long time.
How strong is Malone's influence with the guard and other people that may be loyal to him instead of Ada?
It shrugs. I would have to believe that some of them know what's happening. All can't approve. To be honest, I've wanted to see Malone gone for a long time. I was hoping that your father would place Ada in charge quicker, but from the sounds of it, there's a lot of other important things happening as well.
What is Malone's official role?
When Ada's father was still alive, he was just the head of the guard. But now he just proclaims himself as some type of co-ruler.
Is there anyone in the top leadership of the guard who's loyal to Ada?
He shrugs. I'd imagine so, but I made donations, but I didn't speak to the guard personally. Now, speaking of donations, here. And he tosses you a leather pouch.
Thank you. This will take us far in our travels.
I'm only paying for one, as he gives a little chuckle. There's 10 gold in there for you. A few of it's silver.
Fair enough.
But as I've said, I've wanted to see Malone gone a long time ago. But what other things was Ada speaking of? Mention issues that you're trying to take care of as well?
Oh, you know, just the mind control poisonous cloud that seems to be destroying our kingdom, as well as the dragons that are dragons, perhaps, that are also destroying our kingdom.
Don't forget about the giant sphere as well.
Oh, and the ice giants.
Oh, yeah,
that's
them
right.
too.
There's a creepy orb in the sky over North Point. I mean, it's pretty bad out there.
Well, Cilium's been torturing Holland and Dire Frost for as long as I can remember. Ever since your family had pushed Cilium off the coast. And for another note, with all due respect, the ice giants are gone. No one's seen or even heard a peep of evidence that they've existed for hundreds of years.
Oh, we
And
saw
a
them.
mind control gas. I just love how you say it so nonchalantly.
Oh, the
This
mind
all
control.
sounds terrifying.
It's very terrifying. There's also our aunt from a few hundred years ago that may be a vengeful spirit out in the world now, but we have nothing to do with that. And we believe that the mind controlling fog mist gas thing is directly related to the ice giants, since it said that they had a power that was similar to that. That's why we think they're back.
The only
Well,
source
and
we know of.
we saw them, didn't we?
Did we see ice giants?
Indeed, we did.
We fought ice giants.
I thought we fought ice golems.
Yeah, we fought those golems
But yeah, golems.
Well, just kidding. But yeah, does
and giant gnolls.
Yep.
oh, that's right. It was something giant.
And frozen.
And those are just the biggest problems. We also have the problem to deal with whatever's going on with you, the disappearance of our brother, and the disappearance of our other brother. But those are more minor issues in the grand scheme of this impending apocalypse on all sides.
So far it sounds that if I'm almost regretting you saving my life, doesn't seem that you've had the best of luck as of late.
Oh, we've had
Yes,
zero luck for weeks.
but you're here to change all that, right? And I'll look at him.
He'll kind of like hold the goblet up and like tilt it. Do hope so.
In any case, we're on a journey to get our family back together as well. So after we complete our journey to find out more about what happened to you in the woods, we'll be happy to escort you to Blight so you can find them.
That'd be marvelous.
Well, you did have a dream about our brother, so you were going to come with us either way.
That's who you think I saw?
Based on the description you gave, it's about the only person that could have been. By the way, in your dream, did you notice if they had two hands or not?
Shakes his head. No, I just saw from like he like puts like a hand to like his chest, like here up.
I hope he didn't lose more of his body.
Vig has no legs either. That'd be horrible luck.
It'd make his thieving much harder.
He was always a horrible thief anyway.
Oh, and we recently almost starved to death, so I was only mostly joking about eating you.
That makes quite a bit more sense. Still disturbing, but understandable.
We'd eat the kitties first. It's fine.
Nah, I'd eat him before I
They
ate
both
that
perk up.
mayonnaise again.
I just look at them and I'm like, obviously we won't be doing that.
And I'll give them a little meat to fatten them up.
They'll eat it without hesitation. Well, if there's nothing else we need to discuss, perhaps it's just best to turn in for the night.
Yeah, and as I turn in as well, I would like to sit and actually see if there's anything that I can either read or find more about this creature, and what could have happened with that. Just to look into it more and think about it more, and also I would like to send a message to our compadres back at Blight.
I'd also like to make a slightly forceful request of Pine Hand.
I thought you were gonna say of me. I was like, I already gave you the two, bud.
No. As long as you mostly don't have any issues against it, I'd like you to sleep in the cellar, at least for a couple of nights. We'll move bedding and everything down there for you. I just want somewhere we can keep you and us safe. We'll make it comfortable, but I want to be able to bar the door.
Like gestures up the stairs. Can I at least have my bed?
If you're willing to help move it, I'm willing to help you move it, but yeah, you're sleeping in the basement.
Very well.
You can understand my reasoning, correct? I'm trying to trust you, but I'm not there yet.
To make myself feel better, I'm just pretending that these are orders.
I'm asking nicely.
That's helping, but I do not mean any of you any harm.
And I want to believe you. I just don't yet.
I think also, even if we believe you that you don't mean us harm, what happened in the forest is an obvious example that you don't necessarily need to have the intent.
And shake his head. Huh. Then takes a sip of wine out of the goblet. Perhaps I should begin to move some stuff down.
I will give you a hand. Or two.
As you walk by him,
And I'll
he
give you a hand
flinches
too,
at you,
Chris.
Crix, poking you with his pine hand and goes, "Murder, murder, murder, murder."
Really?
Yes.
He does that. I'll go over to Cryptilli and whisper in her ear to give me Vyric's hand real quick.
And I'll do so.
And then I'll go back and do the exact same thing to him. But
Ah!
with a grin on my face.
What is that? He falls backwards, tripping over a stool.
It's my brother's hand. I intend to give it back to him.
That doesn't look right.
Yeah, come on, Crix. Creep. Let's treat Vyric's hand with more respect.
They're treating it with no less respect than he treated it.
That may laughs.
Well, after Pine Hand kind of regains his composure, each of you can begin moving the bedding down, get him comfortable, set up in the cellar. No, have the cellar door secured, and feel that your prisoner is safe.
He's not a prisoner, he's in protective custody. It's for everybody's safety.
But
Sure.
prisoner sounds more fun.
Whatever you want to tell yourself there, Griggs. Let's go ahead and take our break as each of you kind of begin to get comfortable and nod off for the night as the fire's crackling, keeping each of you fairly warm, much more comfortable than sleeping outside. After weeks of basically just sleeping in the snow, this is much appreciated. So, we'll be right back. Just about 5 minutes.
Yay.
there were a couple things that were going to be taken care of after you put Pine Hand in the cellar. I mean, the basement for the night. Definitely not a prisoner, just witness protection, as Crick said. Creptilli, there were two things that you wanted to get done, which were sending a message and also attempting to figure out what that was in the forest. So, can you give me a roll 1d100? And then I will also need a religion check at advantage. And then I will need you to tell me what your message is.
I don't know if you actually saw that one. I did it in D&D Beyond.
I can check. Okay, so a 70 on the roll. Go ahead and give me the religion check at advantage. Nice. And your message.
My message is, what is the status of Blight? Question mark. How's father? We visit all of our relatives' tombs. What do we do next? Also, can we make Ada true ruler of Belkarth?
Hmm. So, in response, you get Blight still stands, looks grim. King Grimhearth is well, in both spirit and health. Find the source. Take care of it. And what the hell are you doing in Belkarth? I have a couple more. If you think it's important.
Belkarth is like the opposite side of the world from where we told him we were going.
It's so true.
Well, we needed to eat and have supplies.
Yeah, but that's like being in Maine and being hungry and deciding you needed to go to Florida.
True.
To be fair, and also finding out that every state you stopped at along the way is an enemy. But also, you know, like, out of character. She don't know that.
Yeah. No, that's perfect. All the answers I wanted. Except for what do we do next?
Oh, that was easy. Find the problem and fix it. Of course. Why didn't we think of that?
No, the source.
The source, yeah, I was about to start doing some digging for that.
And after giving it some more thought, Creptilli, you begin by sitting down in this slight meditative stance and going over that battle over and over. And after about 30 minutes of you going over those moves, those just brief moments during the day, you begin to pick apart bits and pieces of the puzzle. While you saw a large skeleton standing before you, the more you think about it, you begin to see another shape. You see a creature from another plane surrounding the skeleton, controlling it. As dark as a shadow, the eyes illumination of gold, staring out. This wasn't an undead. This was a demon.
Mm, fair. Um, no demon in particular that we would have studied or anything.
There's hundreds.
Yeah.
Just FYI, there's literally like a whole plane where it's just like demons and devils and like a hell existence.
Okay. So like
There's
just being a demon
numerous
is good
amounts.
enough. Yeah.
It's
No.
pretty cool.
Yeah, I believe it's like the underworld. Um, but I mean, you would know this for an example, which kind of is a part of that. Demons and devils are like interlocked in like this war, constant war. One of them kills one of their leaders, and then there's a retaliation, and they fight with these very powerful weapons and powerful arcane magic that any army that you would know standing in the world of Elista would be evaporated. Like that kind of power.
Demons and devils don't get along.
Yeah, you usually hear one serving the other, meaning demons being lower, but it doesn't sound like it now. That's different.
It's like elves and dark elves kind of thing, except not exactly the same.
Dark and darker. Two shades of dark.
Cool. Yeah. Um, do I have any knowledge about their interactions with like humans or elves? Like why they would have interactions?
I mean, the most common thing that you've read would be like the exchange of one's soul for like a goal. You know, absolute power, wealth. Mainly, like, it gives you to, like, you would remember reading, like, descriptions of greed and stuff like that.
Perfect. So it could be that Ada did give him some type of power or give him his soul so that he could get his family back. Like, just could be hypothetically.
Well, not Ada, but yeah.
Oh yeah, Pine Hand.
He might be an accidental warlock and he made a pact.
Yay.
Which, if he is a warlock, it might be nice to keep him around. They get a lot of fire magic. Just saying.
Pow pow. Pew pew. We'll pick his brain
Extra
tomorrow.
firepower. I'll take it.
Because I only get fake fire.
Is there anything else to be completed before moving on to the next morning?
Nope, I'm good with all of that. I'll relay all of the stuff in the morning. I won't even do it until the morning. And I'll do my normal prayer.
So as each of you get some rest for the night, you begin to be abruptly awakened. So the fire is smoldering itself out, pops and cracks here and there. You do hear a bell. The sound of an alarm going off.
I'll ready myself.
Is it an alarm like Adashi's old alarm or like a bell outside?
Like a bell outside.
Okay, cool.
Can we tell if it's coming from the direction of town?
It seems like it's coming from town square.
Alright, I'll grab my equipment in a hurry and then run down to the cellar and grab Pine Hand.
What is it? What's going on?
Don't know, you're coming with us though.
Alright. And he makes his way up, and what are the rest of you doing?
Follow.
Definitely getting ready to head out.
So as each of you quickly get ready, make your way out the door, it's very easily noticed. Quite a group has already begun to gather amidst the marketplace in the middle of town square. There's some murmurs and bits like, what's going on? I heard it had something to do with Ada. There's maybe 50 people in your way. Pushing forward.
Oh yeah, pushing right up to the front.
Making your way through the crowd with everyone following. As you make your way up, Crix, clearing the path the easiest. Bit to your surprise, you see Ada laying unconscious. Well, you can kind of tell with the slight breathing, but he is in a pool of blood.
And he's unconscious right now, but he is breathing.
Yeah, you do notice like a slight breath here and there.
Yo.
Checking for wounded marks or wound mark cuts.
Oh, that's all good.
You can go ahead and like looking him over, he's just really bloodied, swollen face. If you want to give me a medicine check, I
I'll
can.
no, I'll approach him. I'll approach Ada, and I'll just start the ritual for prayer of healing. And as I do so, I'll look at May and ask her to see what the meaning of this is.
While each of you are in the center, I just want to point out there are quite a bit of guards like keeping the crowd away. As each of you have made your way in.
I walk to the nearest guard and say, "What happened here? Who did this to him?"
Found him like this in the morning. I'm not sure what happened. Looks like a brawl. Probably a drunken fight.
Where's Malone?
Shrugs. Probably post. The north of the gate.
Find him and bring him here.
Right away. Moves away from the crowd, begins to make his way through it, and then towards the northern gate. Pine Hand looks at each of you and says, well, he doesn't look well.
We'll get him patched up. And we will.
Go ahead.
I was just gonna say, and we will find out what happened here.
So as you're close to Ada there, Cryptilly. Can you give me a perception check at disadvantage as you are remembering these words of weakness? I believe, as you put it.
Oh, it didn't show up on roll 20 again. I got
A 14.
14.
You hear the words Malone and guards.
May's gonna walk to or continue asking the guard, why haven't you taken him home yet?
What was that? Couldn't hear you.
Why haven't you taken him home? Why is he still out here in the snow?
Waiting for Malone.
Alright, we'll take him home.
You take him back to his manor.
Well, after my
Yeah, after the heal goes off, of course.
I make sure that there are no guards in the house. They're only outside.
Can you roll me the HP there, Cryptilly? But yeah, you'll. It's easy to find that the place is quiet, empty. Thank you. As the crowd follows you to Ada's manor, you have them kept at like a bit of a distance, getting Ada in. Seems to be a bit less swollen amongst the face. You can see some of the cuts sealed themselves back together as the blood evaporates. Seems to be breathing a bit more steadily. Thank you.
Yes, of course. But try to keep yourself out of trouble next time. What exactly happened here?
He looks quite a bit saddened and just says, Malone heard about the guards. Wasn't pleased with my decision.
Sure, he was looking for an excuse.
Did he do this to you by himself?
He shakes his head, yes. I feel so ashamed that everyone saw me like this. I try to keep it covered.
Yes, I saw that you were trying to do something to yourself, but there's no reason for you to be treated like this. You should be a lot stronger. I need you to be stronger. But I will handle this. Well, we will handle this for now.
I understand how you feel, but you haven't done anything wrong. It's Malone that has to feel embarrassed.
What do you plan to do?
Well, we're going to declare you the official and lone ruler of Bangkok. we have permission from Blight, from our father.
And we're going to make sure that everyone knows exactly what has happened. And then
Pine
tell
Hand.
him,
Oh,
I'll
sorry. Go
tell
ahead.
him, I'll tell Ada to rest up, and I'll grab the family, and let them know uh, my plan.
As you start to gather the family, Pine Hand looks over, and after seeing Ada as well, he says, "I say we kill the fuck." Your voice cracking.
Absolutely.
Finally, we agree on something.
We need to make sure we need some guards that are loyal to Ada to arrest Malone, and also to make sure, just in case he has some guards or some people in place.
Yeah. So as I grab the family, I'm gonna let them know that this is what my plan is, um, and we'll make sure that it's in front of the town. That way, he can say exactly what happened. Hopefully, this bitch ain't got high charisma. But either way, hopefully we get a confession, and if not, we make an example out of him.
To prove interesting.
What are you all whispering about over there?
Simply the best way to deal with this situation with the least amount of recourse.
And who stays with Ada? What do we plan to do? Do you each hear a knock at the door?
Mm, Perfect. Ada, can you stand?
I think so. Ada shakily gets himself up to his feet. Definitely looks weak. Gestures towards the door.
Yep. And if everybody's good, we'll walk towards the door. Or is there anything else?
Just be prepared. May draws her short swords, just in case.
And I've got my glaive off my back.
Perfect. Yeah. So then we'll go and answer the door.
So you enter the door, met with face to face with Malone and two guards standing behind him. We found him asleep at the post. Each of you can just smell the amount of ale, kind of just pouring out of him. What are you waking me for?
Yes, let's go and talk about this. And we'll walk back outside, where the crowd is gathered, and I'll cast Zone of Truth into that space.
I tell the two guards to, uh, stay near Ada and protect him.
What kind of trick are you trying to pull, princess?
You shall see. And there's no trick, only truth. And I'll walk into that space and invite him to follow me in.
Makes his way in. Crix, and can you give me? Well, actually, you're good. Just looked at your sheet real quick. As you're making your way, following your sister towards the bubble, this slight sphere of golden light that has appeared amongst the townsfolk, see Creptilli enter, Malone just behind her. You do see Pine Hand beginning to shake, and just ever so slightly. As you look over him a little bit more, you notice that there's these beads of sweat coming from his forehead.
What's wrong, Pine Hand?
Anger. Anger. What's going on? She looks at you just kind of frantically.
Great. I guess I can't trust you that easily, and it's not your fault. Uh,
As Malone speaks up to you, Creptilli, he asks, "What do you, what do you want to know?"
Um, and I'll ask him plainly, do I know if he passed his charisma check or not?
Yes, you feel as if he's unaffected.
Oh, he's unaffected by it?
Correct.
Okay. Um, so in that case, I'll ask him, I'll say, what is it that you've done to Ada here?
So the cleric casts a zone of truth. I'm to only speak the truth.
Hmm.
Therefore, I do not know. As he looks at you, giving you a bit of a smirk.
Yes. But if you know that is what happened, and you know that I can tell that you are unaffected by this.
He mutters very softly so only you can hear Creptilli. And he says, "But they don't know."
And that's quite all right, because your decisions and your answers will cost you your life if I think you are lying either way. So speak truthfully, and you shall live. Speak a lie, and you shall die.
Justalin, Crix, May, can each of you give me a perception check? Alright. Crix and Justalin, each of you notice these what look like bits of flame beginning to emit from Pine Hand's hands, both as fake and as real. He begins to open his mouth. He seems to be saying something, but there's just no words coming out.
is he standing in the zone of truth right now?
No.
Oh, okay. I was hoping he was having an adverse reaction to the holy magic. Crap.
Oh no, he's definitely just pissed.
And Malone responds to you, Creptillion says, "Would never speak a lie to the people of Belkarth." Then each of you hear a shout. Pinehand screams the words, "Liar!" as a flame begins to erupt around Malone, entrapping him in a circle of fire.
And I I will look to Malone and go, well, I didn't say it was going to be by me, but you should really speak the truth, and I'll back up ever so slightly.
I'm gonna look to Pinehand and tell him that he needs to calm down and get control over this. This is not a good look right now.
And I'm gonna say, I'm gonna invite Pinehand. Yes, let's see if you can get him to tell the truth.
Right now, we
Pinehand
don't need to stoke these
says,
flames.
"This one shall pay." And obeying Creptilli's command, or wish, I should say, these bits of hands begin to emit from the flame tips, grabbing Malone. And each time they do, the flames burst away, but you hear the singe, and then each of you begin to smell bits of burning flesh. Malone letting out some screams. Eventually, begins to say, "Okay, okay, just stop him."
Not until you tell the people what you've done.
Don't kill him, Pinehand.
I wanted control. He is too weak to lead. Just look how each of you are doing with him at your command. Continues to just get pelted by these like hands of flames.
What did you do to him last night?
He sent those guards to their death, so I made sure he didn't forget.
And you think that makes him a better leader? He made a hard decision that we asked him to make. And if those guards hadn't made that sacrifice, we may not be here today, and this village may not be here tomorrow. Seems you're the one that's short-sighted.
And then this is fucked up, but it's so creepy chilly. I'm gonna look to Pinehand and I'll say, it seems he at least has told his truth. And honestly, I will let you do what you will with him. But remember, you have to keep control over these things, or they might get too far out of hand. And I'll say, do your best or your worst.
As each of you look towards Pinehand, you can see his eyes going from this like beautiful green to these like dark, this black replacing the white, and then just these small golden pupils in the middle, just phasing back and forth. But the flames begin to dwindle. And May, you feel an arrow be pulled from your quiver. As you look over, you see Ada knocking an arrow. Before you can do anything, he releases as an arrow sinks into Malone's head.
May just steps back. Make sure she like kneels down to see if Malone's alive.
The flames that were bantering him quite quickly have kind of dwindled, but there are still some hits. And as you look over towards Malone, he is severely burned and an arrow embedded in his head. He doesn't appear to be breathing.
And then, as Creep Tilly realizes that Malone is no longer breathing, she'll grasp her moon piece and say her prayer she normally does. There's a fine line between life and death, and those don't live well shall die. Then she'll take them wherever they normally take the dead.
Each of you have had the dead be buried outside, cleaning up the town, removing the stench of death. So Malone's body begins to be taken away. As each of you notice Pinehand kind of just fall down onto the into the snow.
And I'll tap Pine on Pine hand on the shoulder. And it seems, yeah, it seems you may have made some type of arrangement, huh?
There's no
He's got more
response.
fire in him than we thought.
Is he unconscious or conscious?
He seems to be unconscious.
Alright, I'll pick him up and heft him over my shoulder and take him to wherever we're going. Want to have a few words with him when he wakes up.
You all see Ada drop the bow and just mosey his way back inside.
Before we go, I like address the crowd and I say, like, as you all have witnessed today, Ada has been declared the sole ruler of Belkarth and has the full support of the royal family. Any of you who goes against him will face consequences.
The crowd hardly reacts as each of them begin to disperse. See like the expression of disbelief upon most of their faces.
Well, if nothing else, he was guilty of dereliction of duty, and in times like these, that's worthy of execution. So either way, he had it coming.
Hells, yep.
Although I kinda wanted to behead him myself.
Yeah, 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 yeah. Hey, I was gonna let the demon do it. I don't mind. Because then our hands are still clean.
Alright, so what are each of you doing?
Thinking about how Pine Hand's fire abilities could come in handy future reference.
Oh my god, yes. But how he's also pretty possessed.
But he's unstable, possibly.
Definitely unstable.
Yeah. We
It's
have to
all
harness
good.
it.
I got a full backup plan for that if need be. So it's all good. We Gucci.
See, aren't you
We're-
glad I locked him in the basement?
We love making friends prisoners.
Well, I mean, when they might be possessed by a demon, it's only logical to be careful.
You could have pissed him off and then he could have burned the whole house down.
Well, it's his
Man,
house, so that's no big loss.
if we're in it,
Hey, it's gonna be all good though.
but so far so good. Think.
What the hell are you attacking?
Nothing. Just never saw that little bar, so I wanted to click it and see what it did.
He just punches the air a few times, shadow boxing.
Alright, so I suppose you all have a few choices of where you'd like to go. You can either go to Sakun Manor, You can go back inside and talk to Ada after what he just did. Um, or you can go to the tavern and have a drink. I guess. Or
No,
you can leave if you wanted to. I mean, like I guess, but
I mean, honestly, I would just talk to Ada and make sure that he knows all the procedures he needs to do. Like making sure that that's like tallied as an execution because of all of the things like being drunk on the job, beating up your
Mm,
superior, and all of that kind of stuff. So
yeah.
if
If
people
anything,
do,
check on his headspace. But yeah, that too.
well, nah, I'm going straight to the practicalities.
I know you don't care about the
Yeah,
headspace and shit.
nah,
Yeah,
fuck
yeah.
that, dude. Just make sure you take care of your shit, and then it can't come back on us, and I'm good.
See how he's feeling post Malone.
That was so dumb.
Worse.
Oh, but so good. I'll let y'all check on his headspace.
well, while you're talking to Ada there, Cryptilly, like he understands everything and what he did, but he will overall say to you, "I know he's lying. Whatever's wrong with Sakun knew it too. I I just couldn't let it happen anymore. I couldn't have these people see me as weak, but I also couldn't let him kill him. It had to be me."
You did the right thing.
It was basically your advice, Crix.
I'm glad you took it to heart.
Agreed.
That
Sometimes life isn't for everyone.
that man was a prime example of weakness. Try to be as different from him as you can, Ada.
I strive to be more of as each of you.
Just don't expect yourself or anybody else to be perfect. Everybody makes mistakes, everybody falters. That's how you keep going, that really matters. Also, if you ever need a hand, we've got an extra one.
And
Ada looks
I'll
confused, but
I'll
Kyle, as
look
the
at
DM,
Crix.
the Crix and these hand jokes tonight.
I'll look at Crix and I'll start
Bricks
to
is on it.
unravel Virg's hand.
No, no, not yet. He
Oh,
hasn't asked for it yet.
okay, okay.
Yes, these jokes are absolutely getting out of hand.
It's terrible.
Life is good.
I do appreciate it. And if I do need anything, I will reach out. Did you decide on where you will go?
I'll go wherever the lady says.
South to Bergamo to see what wisdom they can share with us about um, the demon that has so obviously possessed Sakun. But also, it's possible that he'll be of use to us. We desperately need someone with magical abilities to fight the fights we want to fight.
Either way, we can't exactly leave him here in his condition.
Yeah, fuck no.
Definitely not.
I would definitely prefer that you not. If that's not controllable, he is very well to be a detriment to the people around him.
It's probably not controllable, and I'm sure there's something that we could do about that if needed.
Do all look back over towards Pine Hand. He's still just completely passed out. You see his clothes look a bit drenched of sweat.
I'll give him a couple taps on the cheek to see if I can rouse him.
You just hear a bit of like a, but still no movement.
Well, then I'll go get a bucket of water.
What kind of water?
I was just thinking about that. I was gonna do regular water, but can my sister make holy water?
I honestly didn't even think about it. I was like hot or cold. What are we doing here?
He's gonna go in the shop.
I mean, if we can just soak the demon out, that could be pretty useful.
But like,
Cryptilla, you would definitely know the technique of waterboarding to get a demon out does not work.
but I'm just saying, are there any ways that I know about to get demons out? Because my thought was definitely dispel magic.
That won't work. Do we know if it's a demon or a devil? Because you said that you saw one of the two when you were looking at the giant skeleton thing, but I don't remember which.
That was a shade of a demon.
Which means he's probably got a demon in him. Devils are usually the better of the two to work with if you're gonna work with one of them. But you get what you get.
Exactly. I'm like, hey, bro, we can use this however we can. But yes, my thought would be, how would you typically deal with the demon?
Behead it.
Oh, sad. I thought so, but
Perhaps we don't need to get rid of the demon. Maybe we can just make sure they can coexist safely.
yeah, I mean that's what we're gonna try.
But that's all up to Pinehand and whether or not he can get control of his buddy. A pact usually has benefits on both ends.
Yeah, for sure. Oh well, no, he probably just had to get his objective, which is just family back, and then Buddy Demon might leave because he'll
Or
get that
take
soul.
full control. But until then, it should be mutually beneficial.
Yeah, we Gucci. Let's go flame some shit up.
We just need him to assert his dominance.
I'll do some prayers and figure something out in between time. In the meantime,
Perhaps we still go to Bergama to see if the people who live in community with that forest know anything of this creature. But
yeah,
after that, we should go straight to the mountains to tackle our challenges.
yeah. Let's go fuck up Sicilian. Ooh,
Use our walking time bomb while we've got him.
exactly. Let's get it. I don't know if it's a good idea to fight a dragon or not, but fuck it. like I just don't know.
I don't think so, but I'm along for the ride.
I mean, I think we can
Demon
fuck up
versus
some.
dragon seems like a pretty fair fight.
Yeah, it doesn't seem like a bad fight to me at all.
We just got to learn how to point him in the right direction. Is this guy becoming our Hulk?
It seems his heart is in the right place at the minimum, so we should be good in that lots.
I am I am so glad I'm not on camera right now because I'm crying laughing. Like these plans you guys are coming up with are ridiculous.
Well, you know we're ridiculous.
I know, but it's just so funny.
We're
we have a
inept royals
human.
doing the best we can.
We have a human flamethrower, and you think we're just gonna like let him go back to his family and live happily ever after?
He has a duty to his country to fulfill.
First.
Whew, okay, so are we getting holy water right now? I got kind of lost.
No, no,
No.
just regular water. I don't want to antagonize the demon yet.
So we got to figure out how to trigger his powers, though.
I was
Like,
just literally about to like pee my pants at like waterboarding the demon guy with the holy water.
Hey, bro.
You get out of there, you demon!
I'll figure it out. Don't even worry about it.
To make holy water, you have to like bless water for like a certain amount of time, I believe, or something like that. You would definitely know how to
Yes.
do it. I just can't remember exactly what like the time frame or that kind of thing is, but I believe it just takes like a bit of like an hour or so. It's not like incredibly long.
Now, if Cryptilli made holy water and then put it in her jar, would the jar endlessly produce holy water?
No, the jar out of character can only produce certain things,
Yeah, certain
and the only reason
content.
I'm saying it like that is just because Cryptilia has made it like a point not to tell you guys.
Oh, well, can Cryptilli make holy mayonnaise?
No, no.
you got to
I
take the holy out
mean,
of it. It's just more of a chemical type thing.
It's more like unholy.
At this point, mayonnaise would be evil for you guys, but I mean, I could see it happening. You know, you can bless crackers, right? Why not mayonnaise?
yeah, that's what I was about to say. I think you could do anything if you needed to. It just takes a little while.
Instead of olive oil, you
Less
just use
food.
holy oil for making the mayonnaise.
Mm,
Oh my goodness!
genius.
I
I
just
love
thought
it.
of a really good idea, but I can't say anything because I'd just be, you know, on your guys' team. That's not fair.
Yup. Let's get it.
All right,
Let's
so you
go.
splashing Pine Hand with the water?
Oh,
Yep.
no, not with holy water. Just
Not with
regular
holy
Yeah,
water.
water,
just
just regular
regular water.
water.
All right. So you splash
At
Pine
first.
Hand with water, and you just hear gas. Where am I?
How's it going, buddy? You got a demon in you.
I felt something. It was battling me for control.
Yeah, you didn't win.
Or you did kinda.
He's not dead, is he?
He is dead, but you didn't kill him.
He
But you
looks
could have.
towards Cryptilli, so you did it then.
No, Cryptilli didn't do it either.
I wish I could have taken credit for it, but the glory was not mine today. We would have to say Ada held his own.
Looks over towards Ada. Good for you. So what next? What do we do? How do we get this out of me?
We have no idea.
Nope, not at all.
For for now, our best option is to see if you can get control of it, and until we can figure out how to get it out of you.
So we're gonna go down to Baragama, I believe, and we're gonna see if they know possibly any demons that specifically lurk those forests for a while. I don't know if you could talk to him. And I'll look at him.
You should be able to commune with your patron, I believe the term is, if you try hard enough, but I don't know. Also, side note, putting you in the basement doesn't seem like such a cruel idea now, does it?
He shakes his head. No, it seems smart now, in hindsight.
I told you I wasn't doing it to be cruel or mean. I just, some stuff went down and precautions needed to be taken.
Just the only thing that I felt was just pure anger for what he had done. Speaking lies, mocking Creptilli. I heard every word.
You need to learn to control that anger. Losing control of that anger is probably what made you lose control of yourself.
Or lose control of that anger more appropriately.
That would still be a form of control. In battle, I get very angry, but I don't go around killing you guys or indiscriminately.
Thanks for not killing me.
I wouldn't thank me yet. I haven't not killed you. I chuckle at myself.
And I try to look concerned.
So, when do we begin to head south?
We should leave tomorrow morning. Get some rest.
Very well. So, about with that, that's where we call it. This way, the next time we play, I know next week we aren't playing. Cryptilli and Mayvara will both be on a trip, getting back and all that kind of stuff. I believe what we had talked about last time was like right around the time we'd be starting. Not exact details, but nonetheless, I know we're not playing next week. So in 2 weeks' time, we'll pick it back up, get some preparations done for each of you to begin your travel south down into Bergama in hopes to speak with the shaman that runs the village. And then, with the current plans to head up to Genesis, which I'm sure just Stalin has been waiting for his entire traveling time,
Very
and
true.
then either possibly back to Blight or somewhere else. But I did hear Blight was in that contention.
I think that was just a brain fart on my part.
Yeah, we'll probably end up going into the Stokelet Mountains after Genesis.
Yeah, I think it was Bergama, Genesis, and then straight to Stokely.
Amount. Yep.
All right. Well, everyone have a good night, and we'll see y'all next time.
Yeah, over.
Later.
Bye.